And it looks like we are live. Live, live, live. Bear with me while I set up the show, set up the description, set up the thumbnail, and all that. Welcome to the recording of the Comedeorological Report. It's your podcast about how much the weather sucks. I am Joey Only, your host right here, just setting up the live stream so that it looks cool, looks official, looks like something people might want to just stop at and see and make sure that it's not approved for kids necessarily, because anything might be said in the pre and post show. I am Joe Only here, your Caribou weather dude. I think Hilding might be there already.
Good evening.
Hey, buddy. How you doing? How's your week been?
Oh, it's been pretty uneventful.
Mike's hanging around too somewhere. We'll be hearing from him. So we know for sure we got that many people. Hi, Dean. Hi, Dorothy. Cool. I got to get sharing this link around. What's new out there in the farm, Hilding?
Well, I got locked into my house by ice here this week. You couldn't drive in and out of my driveway. It was so icy, and it's just enough of a hill, both coming in and going out. I couldn't go anywhere until I went and got some sand, and I borrowed the boss's truck because it was bigger and heavier and it would actually drive on the ice, and went down to the LDM yard and got a bunch of sand and sanded the whole driveway. Kind of an interesting thing. I haven't had to do that for a long time.
What was your crazy story last week that had me going, whoa, how come we didn't ask you about that?
Um,
Remember, there's like a crazy thing that at the very end you were like, oh, yeah. And then today I was like, what? You didn't say that?
yeah, and the reason I didn't say it was because I was using this new mouse, and I didn't realize that like the arrow would disappear, and I couldn't find it on screen. I clicked the wrong spot and turned off my show, and I had to start it again. That's why I didn't come on, and then I missed my spot. That was funny enough.
So what
Well,
was the crazy story? We need to make sure that we get it. I need to
Bus
remember now so that I ask you later.
yeah, I'm trying to remember now what it was because I was thinking, yeah, I should have. Um, it wasn't about Buster Brown breaking a leg, was it?
No, but that sounds fucked up too.
Well, Buster Brown is my Bronco, and he broke a leg last week. I had to hunt all over the countryside to find another axle for him.
Hmm.
And
No, it was something else that was completely. It happened on Thursday too. I guess we'll get to it. I'm almost
yeah,
done sharing the thing around here.
I'm trying to remember what it was because yeah, I was gonna try to bring it back up this week, and now I can't remember what it was.
My goodness, Hilding, preparedness.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. I was gonna get a picture of a well, I got a little video and I didn't get it sent to you in time, but um of a
We got like
bale
an
rolling
hour to
down a
figure this
hill.
out still, right? We got like an hour to figure this out.
It'd be really neat to put a picture of a bale rolling down a hill. That's how I feed.
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. You just you cut the
Well,
lines and
it's a lot easier than hooking it up behind the tractor or driving the tractor out across the field. If you got a nice hill, you just sit the bale in the right direction and cut the strings off and drop it on the ground and watch it roll down the hill. Sometimes they
it's
do it really nice, sometimes they don't.
it's exactly how my Opa would do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, about
Uh,
every third day, I get a real spectacular one, but I'm always forgetting to bring my phone along.
a real spectacular one.
Like, I mean, when they go actually tumbling down the hill and bouncing and just blowing to pieces, it really looks neat.
What do we got
But
on
I
the
did
bad
get
news battle board tonight? I'm gonna guess this is blizzard warning because, yep, because we know that all the flow is just being, there's a big high pressure being established here right now, and it's making sure everything avoids BC.
hmm
Friday afternoon to Saturday on the Dempster Highway, Oak Grove, Vuntich, Gwich'in First Nation up front, moving through northern Yukon will bring westerly winds of 50 gusts and 80 kilometers beginning Friday afternoon. These gusty winds will pick up loose snow, resulting in blizzard conditions with visibility frequently near zero in the blowing snow. We got probably air quality, I'm guessing. Here comes the Brandon Hoekster. Right on. Blowing snow advisory. Silly me. 70K for the Great Slave Lake area. How about up in Rankin area and the coast of Nunavut? Snow will begin Thursday night as a low pressure system approaches the region from the west. With the passage of the associated cold fronts, temperatures across the Kivalliq area will rapidly cool and gusty northerly winds will develop. This will give freshly fallen snow. Will give blizzard conditions on Friday. This will be Breaker Lake, gusting up to 80 kilometers. Whale Cove, RV at near blizzard conditions, 60 to 70K. Looks like a good one. Up in northern Ontario, where it's been very cold. Today, we are seeing the extreme cold warning continuing into Friday morning of minus 40 wind chill values in the Bruce Peninsula area. Snow squall warnings once again. That's actually for south of. Things are very slow right now. Everything's being slow for me. So I'm clicking on it and it's taking its time. 10 to 20 centimeters there. That's for you. And then our last little real thing to talk about would be over in Newfoundland. Snow squall watches there. Pretty strong winds, gusting 60, 70, 10 to 20 centimeters of snow in those areas. We've had some cold record temperatures set in New Brunswick, and we've had some warm temperatures set in the Northwest Territories this week. That's the look at across Canada right now.
I remembered what it was, Joey.
What was it?
The neighbor got me a load of firewood with his pickup and trailer, and we were trying to back it into my yard. And I was driving a loaner car from the repair shop, and it was parked in the yard. And he backed up and spun out, and the trailer just slid sideways after he put his brakes on and slid right into the loaner car, knocked out the taillights.
And this is because you broke your axle. You had the loaner car.
Yeah, it was because I broke the axle. I had the loaner car. Right.
So how did they take the news of the loaner car's demise?
Well, it only broke a tail light, so they're gonna order one and make me pay for it. But that's how it goes, you know.
Hey, you know what I got here? I have two things overlaid. First, I have temperature overlaid. You can see how our temperature look. Let's zoom out here. Where's the? Here we go. I can make it look more globular. That's easier to show. Okay, so you can see how the cold temperature is being pushed to the east, and you can tell that Northern Ontario will see the end of those cold weather warnings pretty soon, like you saw. Now, what's in these contour lines is precipitation, right? So I could make I could change it around, but I don't really want to because it's harder to see. So I got it on black only, just so you can see. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is the high pressure block in the North Pacific Ocean that is steering our weather out and around up into Alaska. Look how warm it's making things up there at the Arctic Circle.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. Big warm up, just elbowing its way into there. All that precip going through. There's your blizzard warnings and whatnot in effect. You can see how the temperature is moderated by this flow of Pacific weather. But you can see how this high pressure established is keeping everything away from us. Very dry in BC for the next little while. The next little while might not stay that way. Might not stay that way. Hey, Brandon Hauk, there you are.
Good evening.
Hey, how's your week been?
Oh, it's been a week, but it's been good. Oh, yes. Looking at snow pictures all week. That's all I've been doing.
Yeah, pretty crazy story down there in the Gulf Coast, eh? And now that storm is going to move off to the UK. And I was talking about this quite a while ago. I made that video. A little storm in BC went across, made a blizzard, and affected all Canada and brought the cold air down and affected the Gulf moisture, made snowstorm, and that snowstorm is heading to England now. It's not a snowstorm per se, right? In its current incarnation, it's a bomb cyclone.
Yep, it's already in Ireland, and looking at the wind speeds already, we're already seeing gusts of 143 kilometers an hour on the coast there.
Oof.
So it's already started.
Friend of mine from
Didn't take
Florida.
long to get across the Atlantic Ocean.
Friend of mine from Florida was telling me they have 8 inches of snow. He said, "Why don't you come and get your snow back?" And I said, "Well, why don't you come and get your rain back? You made so much ice all over my place, I couldn't even get out of my house this week."
So much ice, you're smashing loaner cars with firewood. There could be a return to BC to a storm track. Could be. This starting to look like a bit of a setup for a storm track, but that's not into, the end of the month and into February. Well, it looks like it's going to be pretty dry for a while for us,
Mm-hmm.
in the immediate future. In the immediate future.
We don't get more warm rain on top of cold ground.
Here's some good news for the fire today there, it looks like. Seems like most of the activity was on the flank where you would want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very concerned about the winds, and it seemed like a lot of the fire activity was in this area yesterday. So it looks like they managed to have some effect there, and most of the active burning it seemed like today was in that northern section, which is difficult terrain, but it's not immediately affecting or threatening this community. So I would say there's been some success on this one, just looking at the data alone. That's the good news. Let's have a look at those winds Brandon's talking about. What else you got this week, Brandon?
Oh, we got a Clipper system. We got a blizzard up in the territories. I got a couple of terrible jokes and, just a good old Brandon Hoke report. That's right.
Some terrible jokes. I like how you just said that so casually. At the Cork Airport, 96 even at the Cork Airport. Shannon
Yeah.
113. This one up here is reporting 135 gust. But what's going
Right.
on in there? This is the steady wind map
The
I got on here, man. This isn't wind
oh, yeah.
gusts,
Yeah, that's
which is what I like to look at a lot because it
insane.
tells you how crazy things might get. I know forecasters like to look at steady winds a lot, but I figure if there's going to be power outages and catastrophes, here's what's going to, when you get one of these maybe hit somewhere. That's incredible, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Fucking for
Yeah, I think
real.
the strongest wind gust right now is at Innistimon at 146 so far. So from what I saw
Oh, there you go at Clahane.
when I zoomed in.
There you go.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
146. And that's just starting to touch, right? So this wind
Yeah.
field is moving in. So that'll be interesting over the next
Oh yeah.
hour, 2 or 3 to see what really transpires there. That's exciting looking. So yeah, I've heard this might be the strongest storm of its kind to ever hit up there. I don't know if that's true or not, but some of those numbers are definitely impressive, man.
Oh yeah.
Really. Let it
They're calling
organize
it
itself here for a
Storm
second.
Eon or something like that.
Eowyn.
Eowyn.
It's like a Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings type kind of name. Oh, look at it. Oof. And the wind's in that dry slot, right?
Oh yeah. It's pretty
There's like a
incredible how fast that thing moved across the Atlantic too. Whew.
Well, yeah. I mean, it was in Texas on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. or whatever. It wasn't really a mid-lat cyclone per se in its incarnation at that time. There's like a weird blackout. That must have been when they deployed the weather machine and we're not allowed to see it.
Oh yeah.
Just kidding. Oh, this should be pretty. This should be pretty. Well, let's turn off this shit now. We know. We already know. Oh wow, wow. What if we just go blue because the nighttime is kind of screwing up the prettiness of it. Let's just look how pretty it actually is. So take a second. This is what a beast does. Come on, beast. Here we go. Whammo. I need to. There we go. Isn't that incredible, folks? The little BC
Oh,
storm.
yeah.
Here comes Mark Engels.
Eye
Awesome.
candy.
Yeah, really.
Yes. Welcome to the Ireland show.
A little BC storm comes across, changes the weather in North America. That weather change instigates a Gulf of Mexico snowstorm. Gulf of Mexico. That's what it's called. It's called Gulf of Mexico. Just like this is called Ireland. Yeah. Or was called. We'll see if it's still there after the storm.
I think a sting jet's forming in that too. So if that sting jet makes landfall, they could probably be on the northwest side there somewhere. That's a big deal.
That's crazy looking, eh, Mark?
Yeah,
Is
it'd be
this as
nice to
strong
get.
as it gets out there in the Atlantic?
Um, I just saw a couple of weeks ago. I think the strongest storm on the record in that region of the Atlantic, it was like somewhere around 916 millibars.
Oh yeah.
That was centered north, like towards the Shetland Islands, north of Scotland. So it's not like a one-to-one comparison. Um, but this is on the higher end for sure. And to have 9041 essentially making landfall. A lot of times we see this here in the Northwest. These storms will go through bombogenesis offshore, but then enter into their mature phase before making landfall. Whereas this won't reach its mature phase until like probably while it's crossing Scotland.
That's what it looked like to me. It's going to keep deepening, isn't it?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
wouldn't be
and what we were
surprised if this
seeing
approaches 935 or so.
as before you came on, we were looking at some wind gusts. One was 146 on here, but you mean look at the wind fields that are in this.
Holy moly!
Wind gusts, right? This isn't steadies. This is wind gusts.
Still.
However, yeah, well over 200. But when you look at the steadies, they're still very impressive. Like,
Yeah, right.
and, that's almost Cat 2, right? Hurricane force wind just on the steadies.
And we had this on a bomb cyclone earlier this season, but these, high end Cat 1, low end Cat 2 force winds were a couple hundred kilometers offshore, not at Castlebar.
It is absolutely incredible just seeing those strong wind speeds like that. I've never seen anything like that before.
Well, it does happen occasionally.
Yeah.
This far north, though?
That's
Yeah,
pretty,
well,
pretty intense.
when you're this far north, it's easier for these storms to deepen because what drives mid-latitude cyclones is the difference between warm air and cold air. And so we see really extreme storms like this off Alaska too, because of the difference between the Pacific Ocean water and the sea ice north of the Bering Strait, or the Bering Sea or whatever it's called. Here we're dealing with, you're right on the edge of the Gulf Stream. And so you've got that warm water that's coming from the Gulf of Mexico around Florida, blah blah blah. But you don't get very far north before you start getting into the frigid waters around like Iceland and crap. Plus, something to be said about the presence of Greenland's ice cap. So yeah, that does happen occasionally, but I mean, it doesn't make it any less damaging. You know, 220K wins. That's 220K wins. What are you going to do about it?
You can just see the temperature difference when you go to the 500 millibar level. You know, what's feeding the storm. And like Mark says, you need that cooperation between the very cold and dry and the very warm and moist that the ocean provides. So if the ocean is warmer on average in a location, and that warmth is getting close enough to reach into this cold, you're going to have the ability for storms to really, and that's what we see here in BC often, like Mark was saying, right? This is the 950, 935. We go, wow, that's pretty crazy in the North Pacific, but we see that several times a season out there in the ocean.
Yeah, and also
the Aleutian Islands are used to it.
Oh yeah, because there's a bigger temperature difference there between the water and Alaska and the sea ice in the Arctic Ocean. Greenland gets this quite a bit too when a storm runs up closer to Greenland because of the ice cap there.
Look at these sea temperatures.
That's what I just had up on my phone.
Well, because I'm going through your thought process of what you were just explaining, right? I mean, you didn't, but you were kind of alluding to a lot of this stuff, so. Right, but again, we see
and it's
warmer
worth noting,
sea surface temperature, and then so the water's pretty warm up here, man, like 11 degrees, and then you look at some of the temperatures it has to work with. Are we back? Yeah, we're back to surface. Look at some of the temperatures it has to work with to draw from out there in the air.
And drop that over the southern Greenland ice cap because it is pulling in. We can see air from Greenland too. So we got 12-degree water temperatures and minus 25-degree air temperatures on the one end and the other. This is a perfect example of how bomb cyclones form in this sort of context. There are a couple other ways we can form them, but this context for sure.
The cold air that's feeding it right now also prevented it from hitting Atlantic Canada.
Yeah, that was it's been quite the week. I'd say it's less that the cold in Atlantic, it's less that the cold feeding it prevented it from hitting Atlantic Canada, and more that the system making that cold exist prevented it, right? Because the wind flow pattern was such that it was going to go off towards the British Isles rather than coming up the eastern seaboard. That's more of the airflow pattern rather than a direct product of the temperatures.
Well, the airflow pattern and the temperatures, though, are in conjunction.
Yeah.
I would argue, right? So, is kind of what the picture I was trying to paint.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that jet is ripping. Hey, while we're talking about bomb cyclones, we might as well make the haters even more mad. There's also an atmospheric river associated with this bomb cyclone. If you switch it to dew point and run it up to 850 millibars, we'll be able to see that really well.
Well, you can even see it just on the surface.
Yeah, and it's too bad Windy doesn't have total precipitable water, because then we could really see it. And the atmospheric river associated with this is tapping into moisture from the Pacific coast off of Costa Rica and Panama.
Oh, yeah. And there's another atmospheric river heading for Alaska, too. Yeah, there's that one.
Yeah, that's because the storm track is aimed at Alaska and not me.
Not you.
Well, that's still not till
like the 31st or something.
Yeah,
even that, I'm not too impressed with that right now. It's just better than what we're seeing right now.
I think what it's going to do, well, first of all, it breaks down this high pressure that's keeping us safe for the next little while here, right? Like BC's really protected. So it will break that up, whatever it looks like in the end, whatever its final. I mean, these are just guesses. I mean, that's pretty strong, but that there, bam, forces that high back out. could bring a bit of a coastal flow to BC, but look at how it sets up. I think it sets up for February to maybe start delivering something at us.
I think
I'm hoping.
I agree. I think we're gonna have an active February.
We have to. But that, I don't know, that's not promising, man.
I
No.
mean,
So we'll see how that works out. I mean, we've had a bunch of these storms beat that back already in BC this year. I mean, I haven't actually hit below -20 this season, this entire winter. And
Neither have
I've
I.
never been able to say that since I moved to Wells.
Mm-hmm. This is the first winter in the 5 years I've been in this cabin that I haven't had to worry about a frozen water pipe once.
Yep. There hasn't been one night where I thought I better leave a tap running.
Yeah, me neither.
Well, I guess I'll have to share it one day.
Well,
Yeah,
I
you
got a
can get that,
100-year-old
Brad.
building here, right? And it was never built for people to live in. It was built to be a lumber depot for a gold mine.
Mhm.
You know, it's not an easy building to keep warm all in all. And I didn't get the wood I probably needed for most winters here. I was like, oh, well, whatever. There's enough outside in the collective pile I got for Josh and I that if I run, but I've barely been going through what's in my shed, you know, like I go through about a rounder a day right now. Of course, they're pretty big rounders, but you know, really, I've been just chipping away slowly and, you know, not having to worry, spending a lot of nights where I just let the fire go out and get into my bed because it's still warm upstairs. And yeah, not worrying about, oh, it's almost Frankie time.
Time we've all been waiting for.
He's going to be here any minute. Finally, I can just, you know, shut up for a little while. Oh, I look at all the comments. Wow, you guys are awesome. I'll try to read these when we get this.
I think Imogen must not like me because she only comes on when I'm not on.
I think that
wait a
must be
minute.
it. I mean, I don't have a choice. I have to like you.
That's true.
Yeah. Which is a good thing I do. I mean, you know. Yeah. Okay, yeah, we're just minutes away from Frankie here. And just make so hi everybody in the comments. Make sure you hit the like and share and subscribe. And you know, if you're into weirdos and weather and sometimes pro-democracy commentary and things like that, tell a friend. Help us keep growing the channel here. I would really appreciate that very much. Oh, look at this. Here's the Frankie. Oh, and I'm totally not ready for our jingos and our
Jingo? Is that what we're
Yeah.
calling it now?
you
Hi,
know,
Joey.
Hey, Frankie.
I'm doing great so far. Florida had snow.
Florida had a lot of snow, didn't it? More than probably Williams Lake's had all winter, more than Chicago's had all winter.
There's a lot of snow for northern Florida, and Miami spared.
Okay, I think I'm just about ready to go. Oh,
Yes.
no. I forgot to hit record. I had everything set up to go, and then I didn't hit record yet.
That means that you have to press record.
That means I gotta get better at my job here. And now I gotta go all the way back to finding what I had there. So just give me 1 second here and I'll get ourselves going. It's January the 23rd, is it already? It's the Comedeorological
Yes,
report.
and today is the first sunrise up in Bear, Alaska since November 19th.
The first sunrise up in Bear, Alaska. That's Frankie McDonald. I'm Joey Only, and this is the Comedeorological report. Let's roll the washboard, Hank.
Well, whether it's hot, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather we got. Wait a minute. Well, whether it's cold, whether it's hot, Frankie's got the weather or not.
Welcome to the Comedeorological Report Comedy Meteorology Podcast. I'm Joey Only up here in Wells, BC. That's right. It's your show about how much the weather sucks. You're hearing us on C4 88.7 FM, CKUW 95.9, and CFBX 925. You're hearing us on Rogers Television. watching us on Rogers Television. I got a full cast of people here on the panel tonight. Of course, we got Frankie McDonald, the world's greatest weatherman out in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Everyone knows Frankie's got 300,000 subscribers on YouTube. He's a very famous guy, and he is my favorite, of course. We got Brandon Hauk, who's a co-host and radio weatherman out there in Brooks, Alberta, with all your weird, funny, bad jokes and weather updates from the prairies. We got our producer Imogen the Alien coming on tonight. Good to have Imogen Cookie Bailey back. We got meteorologist Mark Ingalls with us, Mike McGregor from Weather Center Manitoba, Karen Richards, Hilding Donaldson. What a full posse we got on the show once again, everybody, and I am totally stoked. Well, as per usual, we like to start the show off with the man himself. His name is Frankie McDonald.
Frankie!
Can you yodel for us? Who has the worst weather in the world, Frankie?
Ladies and gentlemen, Frankie!
How you doing so far, Frankie McDonald?
I'm doing great so far. The worst weather in the world is up in UK, bringing so much high winds and rain it's going to knock out power all across the United Kingdom.
Looks like a real bad one, Frank. You could see wind gusts over 200 kilometers an hour.
In England,
Yeah, in Ireland.
in Belfast, Ireland, and in northern Scotland, Ireland, wind-driven rain, sideways rain, big waves crashing on beaches, shores in England. It's going to affect Norway and all those places. Same storm that brought a lot of snow in Florida, in Louisiana, in Houston, Texas, where Trey used to live. Now Trey lives in Austin, Texas. Trey's stand-up comedy didn't get canceled.
Yeah, and it's the same storm. That storm in Texas is because of an Arctic outbreak. That was because of a big blizzard that came through Canada last week, right, Frankie?
And the weather all across Nova Scotia. It's light snow right now in Nova Scotia right now. It's going to bring light snow in Sydney, Nova Scotia, surrounding areas. It's in light snow to light flurries. And did you hear about this? It's going to bring really cold air in Ontario, Boston, New York, and all those places. It's going to warm up a little bit in Florida. It's really cold in Florida. It's going to get more cold weather in northern Florida, again, in Louisiana and all those places. Louisiana's going to warm up a little bit after a snow event. It's going to bring lots of rain next week in Louisiana, in Houston, Texas, and Austin, Texas. Then it's going to bring some little bit of warm weather in northern Florida as well this weekend. Weather all across Vancouver, British Columbia, and all those places. They're going to bring lots of rain. Los Angeles, California on Sunday, where Santa Ana winds are. It's going to bring lots of rain since Santa Ana wind zone in Los Angeles on Sunday.
They might actually get a little bit of rain there. I saw that.
And the really cold temperatures heading for Los Angeles. We got snow in the mountains where Santa Ana winds hit.
Hopefully that's some good news for them. Looks like the fire got a little bit of control on it today. It looked like, Frankie.
Then they got the real cold weather in Los Angeles and San Diego and California as well. The next week, there's another storm system in the Hudson Bay, Ontario, Canada. That's going to bring another Arctic air all across eastern United States as well, like northern New York and all those places. Another Arctic air heading for eastern USA as well.
What else you got, Frankie?
Colder air heading towards Nova Scotia as well, and New Brunswick and Quebec and Ontario as well, and even Vancouver, British Columbia. They get some lots of snow, and they got flurries in Vancouver and Seattle, Portland as well. And then they got another Arctic outbreak in Timmins, Ontario, and all those places where Jamie Kinson Clump podcast is at. In Timmins, Ontario, there's a chance that Jamie Clump's going to interview me on Wednesday, January 29th.
Well, yeah, say hi to Jamie. Hopefully I can make it on there. I love Kins and Klump. That's a great podcast. Those are great human beings. Timmins, Ontario, friends.
Yes, and that means Phoenix, Arizona is going to remain mild, and lots of rain and cold temperatures and snow in Los Angeles this Sunday, where Santa Ana winds hit earlier. It's going to bring really cold temperatures in Utah, Colorado, Idaho. It's going to warm up in those places, and Santa Ana winds are going to come back in California late next week as well. The Santa Ana winds is going to transform over to cold weather. There, it's going to bring some really cold weather in Hudson Bay. Then they got Chinook winds in Calgary and Edmonton and those places. Then they got Chinook winds in Calgary as well. Then they got some got hot weather in Mexico right now. Then you got
What
hot weather
else?
in Mexico, Guatemala, Costa Rica. It's lots of rain, thunderstorms in Honduras, El Salvador, and all those places in Nigeria. In Panama, lots of rain, thunderstorms going on right now. Weather for South America, lots of rain, thunderstorms in Venezuela right now, Colombia, parts of Bolivia, parts of Ecuador, and Amazon rainforest in Brazil and Venezuela. In northern Argentina, lots of thunderstorms and rain in northern Argentina right now as well. A lot of rain and thunderstorms in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil right now. It's really dry up in northern Chile, lots of rain. In southern Chile right now. Even snow far up in the mountains in southern Chile as well. They got heavy rain next week in coast areas of Chile. Southern Chile as well. Weather all across Europe. There's a powerful windstorm heading towards Ireland, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland in England with a lot of rain and wind and snow up in the mountains of Scotland as well. Then they got some powerful storm heading towards southern Norway. Then they got some rain in the forecast in France, Spain, the cold temperatures in Portugal, and lots of warm air in Morocco, Algeria, Libya right now. Lots of rain going on in Croatia, including Bosnia and all those places. It's dry in southern Italy right now. It's a little bit wet in northern Italy. In Albania, Greece they got some rain in the forecast this Saturday coming. Then they got some cold air in eastern Turkey and warmer air in western Turkey as well. Then the cold air is heading for Syria as well. And the weather all across the Middle East and like cold air in Syria and all those places and parts of Iran and Afghanistan and those places right now in the Middle East. And weather in China right now is lots of cold air in China, South Korea, North Korea, Vladivostok, Russia. It's cold air in Tokyo, Japan right now. Snow up in Sapporo, Japan. It's really cold in Sapporo, Japan. Then they got some cold weather in northern China, Mongolia. It's extremely cold in Siberia right now. They got some thunderstorms and rain. They got some rain forecast in Taiwan. A lot of thunderstorms and rain in Indonesia, Papua New Guinea right now, parts of Philippines, Malaysia, and Singapore right now, in Thailand, in Vietnam and Laos. In Thailand, it's really dry right now. In eastern Vietnam and eastern Laos, it's a chance of showers and thunderstorms in forecast. In Bangladesh and Myanmar is in the dry season right now. It's really dry right now. Sri Lanka is in the dry season, but a little bit of showers in the forecast. India is really dry right now. Once another couple of months away, their summer starts in India in April. Then it got possible on as well. Then it got a cyclones. Then the weather, lots of dry weather in Nigeria and Ghana right now. In Egypt, lots of dry weather in northern Africa, like a little bit of showers and forecast in Nigeria and Ghana right now. And there, because it's dry season there right now, lots of rain, thunderstorms in Angola right now, including Mozambique, Madagascar, Lagoon and Mauritius Islands right now, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and Tanzania in Africa. And South Africa is extremely hot there right now in South Africa, including Cape Town, where the showers and the thunderstorms in the forecast next week. Same as Johannesburg, South Africa. And down Australia right now in the southern hemisphere summer, it's really hot there right now in Perth, Australia right now. It's really hot there right now. Then they got some really dry weather after lots of thunderstorms and hail and rain in eastern Australia. In Brisbane, Australia, Queensland, Australia, Sydney, Melbourne, and Victoria is dry there right now. Lots of rain and thunderstorms going on in northern Australia right now. In central Australia is really dry there right now. Weather in southwest Pacific. Then they got some rain in the forecast in Auckland, New Zealand, and Gisborne, New Zealand, Hamilton, New Zealand, New Plymouth, New Zealand, Wellington, New Zealand. Got cold air in Invercargill, New Zealand in summertime. In Queenstown, New Zealand, London, New Zealand, Christchurch, New Zealand. Got warm air and cold air fighting each other. It's cold that time of year in southern New Zealand as well. Then it got to next week. It's going to be lots of showers and rain and heavy rain in north coast of South Island, New Zealand as well. Down Antarctica, it's still 24-hour daylight there right now. They'll be starting to get darkness in Antarctica sometime next month, including South Pole Station. They'll be starting to get darkness in McMurdo Station, Antarctica next month. They started to get daylight. The first sunrise up in Barrow, Alaska on January 23rd. That's today. First time since November 19, 2024.
That is an excellent, excellent world weather report, Frankie McDonald. Does anybody on the panel have a question they would like to ask Frankie McDonald while they have a chance? Anything about weather, your life, or anything? Meteorologist Mark Ingalls, I can tell you're chomping at the bit.
Yes, I'm ready. Frankie, what kind of food should people eat in Ireland while they are having the storm?
They eat hamburgers and things like this and pizzas. They got their own pizza shops in Belfast, Ireland, and Dublin, Ireland, and surrounding areas.
Okay, there you have it.
Order your hamburgers, order your pizzas, everybody in Ireland. Yeah. Oh,
they got their own pizza shops up there. They got their own restaurants up there. They got their own hamburgers. They got their own steaks up there and things like this. They got their own kind of restaurants just like we do in Ireland.
Green pizza. Love it. Love it. Any other questions for Frankie?
Open. And did you hear what is over in Ireland? The weather there right now. It's going to get a powerful storm in Ireland on Friday. I got lots of videos. I sent it to you. England, California, rainstorm, things like this.
Yeah, we got 146 kilometer-hour winds we were just seeing there, Frankie. 12-meter high waves. Mike McGregor.
Then they get the fire season starting up in Los Angeles, and then they get the fire season in British Columbia this summer coming.
Mike's got a question for you, Frankie.
Yeah.
Frankie, what is your favorite winter drink when it's super cold out? What do you like drinking when it's like below
Green tea,
freezing?
white tea, red tea.
You like to have any sugar in it?
Zero.
Toppings?
Green tea, white tea, red tea.
Zero sugar for Frankie.
For green tea.
Nice.
Got time for one more question for Frankie. Anybody out there got a question for Frankie McDonald?
Yeah.
Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, then.
The Brandon Houck Report.
Oh, hi. This is the Brandon Houck Report.
Brought to you by
Smoking Good Barbecue.
Brandon Houck. How are you doing this evening out there in Brooks, Alberta?
Oh, Brandon Houck's doing smoking good. There we go. That's how we do it. Oh, my internet connection went unstable there. Whoops. That was a little too powerful, I guess.
Yeah, I had like my face frozen for a while. It was like you were so powerful, you froze my face.
That's the power of the smoking good barbecue. It freezes everything. It touches, you know.
And guess what? Tomorrow night I'll be on Base Guy Show.
Oh, yes. Should be good. Anyways, talking about the weather story this week. Well, I know British Columbia, they want all cold Arctic air mass, but they didn't get it last weekend. Alberta, points to the east, they got the brutal cold air mass. Last weekend, early this week, we dropped to minus 30 here. The wind chill felt like minus 38. It was refreshing outside, I tell you. Absolutely. Nostrils freezing and eyeballs freezing, you know, that kind of weather. And even colder in like areas like Regina. They had to, they had overnight lows drop to minus 35. Wind chill felt like minus 49 earlier this week. So brutal cold across the prairies. And Manitoba also got that brutal cold air mass earlier this week. And that whole air mass, well, it took a trip to Eastern Canada, Ontario, Quebec got into the cold air, the Maritimes as well, and across the United States all the way down to the Gulf Coast where it met up with this system sprawling out of Texas there and produced quite a winter storm scenario across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, Pensacola, Florida. Some areas got record-breaking snowfall. I saw some totals over 20 centimeters of snow, and people are having snowball fights in New Orleans this week. So, as I say, quite a weather scenario this week. And now, the same storm system has now pretty much scooted its way across the Atlantic Ocean into Ireland, and they're dealing with winds now gusting over 160 kilometers an hour just offshore, seeing winds potentially gusting up 200 kilometers an hour. And the same system is going to be impacting the UK through Wales, Scotland, and right through the Irish Sea there. It's going to be, it's going to be a rough ride for them in the next 12 to 24 hours. And also, we're watching another scenario. We've had a blizzard ongoing in Claude River up in Nunavut for the last 48 hours. That's right, 48 hours in a blizzard. And they're finally seeing that blizzard wind down. And then they're going to get another blizzard on Saturday. So Claude River Nunavut probably definitely has the worst weather for the whole week here across Canada. And we're also watching another blizzard expected to develop tonight into tomorrow, which is the 24th of January. And that will be for areas around, let's say, Baker Lake, the Kivalak, Rankin Inlet, Arviat areas in for a blizzard for the next 24 hours as well. And then we've got blizzard conditions likely up in the Dempster Highway and the Old Crow. We're also watching an atmospheric river extend into Alaska in the days ahead here. So for our weather, back here in the province of Alberta, we've got this cold front swiping its way through today, and we're seeing some convective flurries and snow squalls developing once again. Today was quite warm. We had Calgary, the hot spot in the province today at 6 degrees, and then at 3 o'clock, the front went through and the temperature dropped 5 degrees this afternoon, and we still got some convective kind of flurries, and even there's just a wee bit of instability. There might even be a lightning bolt this evening, but the chances of that's going to be quite low, so I don't think that's going to be much of a concern for us through the overnight hours of tonight. But as we go into tomorrow, we're going to see the system, this little clipper system that's going to be moving its way across the southern prairies with some snow, a little bit of blowing snow with the winds gusting at about, say, 50 to 60 kilometers an hour. So it's going to be, quite a doozy of a little clipper system for Friday. And then after that, high pressure takes over for the weekend. We'll see our temperatures start to rise into next week. And looks like we'll see a bit of a return to some above average temperatures there. So very, very nice stuff. Now, here we are. So a couple of stories that I found this week. And here we go. So this one story, I have to say, this one is pretty impressive. So some people from Sweden here. Well, they actually broke a world record this week for the longest table tennis match. That's right, the longest one. How long was this table tennis match? It went for 13 hours and 37 minutes. That is a long time for a table tennis match. So that just shows that there's pretty much nothing to do in Sweden, apparently, with that.
Was it one match? Like they just couldn't score on each other? They just went back and forth for... Or was it many matches counted as one match, which would not be as impressive?
I think it's one match. Totally, I do.
What were they playing to? What was the score they were aiming for? Was it like 100,000 points or what? If you're going to play for that long, you are not just playing to 10.
100,000 points.
I am in House Sweater in British Columbia.
100,000.
Hi, Frankie. It's awesome. It's clear, crisp, and cold. It's like being on a frozen sink sponge. Everything's wet and soggy, but cold. Light layer of frost right now. That's winter.
That means that tomorrow night I'll be on Base Guy Show at 10:50 p.m. Eastern, 11:50 p.m. Atlantic, 7:50 p.m. Pacific.
That is exactly what that means. Frost on the ground here means that Frankie will be on Base Guy's show tomorrow.
That is awesome.
We have our own version of Groundhog Day, and it's all about Frankie routines.
That means that did you hear about this? And the sun has risen up above the Arctic Circle already.
So
we were hearing that.
So here's how these things are linked. When we get frost on the ground here, it means Frankie's going to be on Base Guy's show. And when he goes on Base Guy's show, it means that the sun's going to be above the Arctic Circle. They're all connected.
It took a long time for sunlight to return up there.
It's because of HARP.
I think so.
Oh, boy.
That means that once again around March 20th, there'll be 12-hour daylight, 12-hour darkness all over the world.
Yeah, there will. Can't wait.
Well, maybe one day we'll get some Arctic air in BC now. That'll be nice, wouldn't it? So, by the way, if your house is cold, just stand in the corner. It's always 90 degrees there. That's one thing I've learned.
You suck.
And also,
Assumes they built it right.
That's funny.
You suck, Brandon.
Oh,
Thank you.
Brandon, really? You did that one. Why?
and,
knew it was coming.
I know. The rest of the guys, nobody else hasn't seen that one yet. But
There's
then
another one.
There's one. Why did the guy stop using his loyalty club card to scrape ice from his windshield? Do you want to know why? Okay. He only got 10% off. All right. And that would be the Brandon Hauk report right there.
Oh boy.
Success is wild by default of how much failure we are all surrounded by. Enough to have it register as meat rain.
Image Cookie Bailey, tell us about the news of the show and the world and your life and all that and all the good things down there in Victoria, BC.
Well, that's a sentence fragment if I ever heard one.
I'm discombobulated.
It's wet and cold here. That's about it. I'm still waiting for the okay to talk about the major TV show I was on a little while ago, because thanks to a non-disclosure agreement, I can't say anything other than I was on a major TV show. But while I was out of town doing that, I did hop in a helicopter and buzz over Niagara Falls. So that was super cool. Not sure when it airs, but it's going to be airing sometime in the spring. And then I can say, here's all the backstage photos and behind the scenes photos and all that stuff. So that's a whole lot of nothing. It's cold and wet here, and immediately after here, I'm heading out to a photo shoot, and that's going to be for another magazine thing, but that's just run-of-the-mill, tedious stuff. So what do you want from me?
I think the next season of Andor, Star Wars Andor, comes out this spring, so I'm just going to, in my mind, pretend it's that, because that would be so friggin' cool. Image Cookie Bailey, co-producer of the show. Now let's go and take a look at, I know Mark wants to go to bed, so.
Just got the fat check for pushing that.
My name, Mark Ingalls.
Pushing that agenda. It says here, HARP, climate change, whatever, in my bank account.
Meteorologist Mark, what do you got?
Hello, good evening. I am very glad that the snowstorm happened this week in New Orleans and not last week, because I am very happy to live in the only Canadian city where it doesn't snow. Yeah, they got 20 centimeters of snow in New Orleans. Last I saw earlier today, all of the freeways going in and out of the city are still closed because they don't have snow plows down there, right? So the northern Louisiana did get some in from Arkansas. But I think on a lot of these roads, a lot of the freeways, I-10, I-55, are elevated because it's all swampy, right? So they're really long bridges, and it's going to take a while to melt. And I think they're just waiting for it to melt.
Well, that's what I was saying on one of my shows. It's like, there actually there's less chaos there because they're just like, wow, this never happens. How enjoyable. Whereas if it was like a foot of snow going in Canada, we'd be like, well, the boss expects us to be on time, and we'd force our way through it and have 100-car pileups like in Manitoba.
Yeah. So I think Louisiana's got it right. I heard from a friend of mine in Houston who he's been working from home all week because of it, and yeah, that was quite the event. I think Dominion Energy, which is the utility that covers most of the people in Virginia and a portion of North Carolina too, may have beat their all-time record for energy load, meaning that they were serving more energy than ever before. And I haven't confirmed that yet, but that's pretty strongly we believe that. So I'll probably look into that tomorrow at work if I can figure out Python and how to do all that stuff. So yeah, the weather is going to calm down a bit in the east, but the polar vortex is going to be disrupted again here next week. We're going to see it tilt kind of towards Greenland. That looks like it's going to open up. So the polar vortex is up 30 kilometers high, and that looks like it's going to open up conditions to adjust the jet stream, which is about 18,000 feet, so like 5 kilometers high. Mess with the jet stream to pull in very cold air from Siberia into Alaska and Yukon. And then it looks like it's going to park in Yukon to begin next month, And the big question mark is, are we going to pull that down into BC and the Pacific Northwest, or are we going to send that off towards Brandon Houck again? So
Off to Brandon, off to Brandon, off to Brandon again.
So
Every time this year.
we'll see how that goes. I mean, of course, as I've said, I'm happy to not have any
Then
snow.
they got a whole lot of rain. Los Angeles on Sunday, where Santa Ana winds was earlier this month.
15 mils is a lot for them.
The rain in Los Angeles this weekend, that's going to be a big problem on those recent burn scars that are right in town, right? So when rain falls on these burn scars, it causes flash flooding and debris flows. And the big problem with that is, of course, wherever it happens, but we've got this completely adjacent and inside very urbanized regions. The Los Angeles basin has more people than British Columbia several times over. Not that everyone is at risk, but I think that this is going to be a significant threat this weekend. So those are the main stories that are going on. Polar vortex changing. We'll see what that does next month. But I think we're looking either way, whether that cold air gets into BC or not. I think we're looking pretty good at returning to an active weather pattern here, at least in the lower mainland. Probably also where Imogen's at, though she's in the rain shadow a little bit. And I think Joey will get a little bit of that too. So I have a question for Brandon Houck.
Oh boy.
Okay. Do you know the difference between a captain chair and a toilet?
Oh. Is it? It's because it's the throne.
His internet's so slow we can't.
Wow, this is going very poorly. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Brandon Houck, you're done.
Pick anybody else.
Get better
because
internet.
it's the throne.
No.
Oh,
No.
no
All
clue.
right. No clue, Hank. That means you're the one. You did it.
You did it. You did. Well, Hank's outside and he looks cold, so we might as well talk to Hank quick. We got a lot of people here, but we still have half an hour. We got time. We got about 33 minutes, actually. Hank Fleistra, you was very cold there in Sask last weekend, I seen.
I'm overdressed. I'm not cold.
Last weekend, I said.
It's surprisingly warm out here, but it's also windy in western Saskatchewan here. But, I mean, it's not above zero, but it must be quite close to that. Must be quite close to the freezing mark. Brandon, I don't know if we're going to get much of that clipper here where I am. Feels like it might be going south of me. But
Yeah, it looks like.
I'm glad for warmer temperatures than we had last weekend. Was nasty.
Well, this video I got of you here that I'm going to splice in the final cut has you out there, and then you're saying it's minus 40 wind chill coming on in the evening.
Yeah, we had some wind chills that dipped below minus 40 more than once on the weekend there. And but the good news is the last time I looked at the forecast, we're looking at temperatures that are better than that are not extreme cold for like the next 2 weeks running here, which is really lucky, really fortunate to have right in the middle of the coldest part of winter historically. So we'll have decent temperatures, not warm, but decent for the next couple of weeks.
Well, I think February it's going to get friggin' cold again by what I was seeing in the models today. Look out, Hank. Look out. It's coming back.
When in February? What part of February?
The beginning. You'll see. It's coming. It's coming. Mark was alluding to it in the polar vortex
Yeah.
spiel there.
We will see. I hope not.
Calves will never be delicate and friendly, even though
It's been icy in Grassy Plains, British Columbia, and that's why Hilding's axle fell off his truck. And because his axle fell off his truck, he went and got a loaner vehicle and then got some firewood help last week Thursday. And we should have had you talking about this on the show last week Thursday, Holding. What's happened to your loaner vehicle?
Whoops! I went sliding down the hill.
Very nice. I like that.
Oh yeah. No, I was in town the other day, and my trusty Bronco, I call it Buster Brown. He decided to bust an axle right in the middle of the parking lot at the parts supply store. So I had him towed across the street to the repair shop, and we hunted and hunted. We couldn't find parts for it anywhere. I went and I spent 2 days looking for parts. Finally, I found some parts down at Vanderhoof. I borrowed the neighbor's pickup and went down to get parts in Vanderhoof. So I was using a loaner car that was from the repair shop in town. And then the neighbors called up and he said, I'm moving my processor and I can make you a load of firewood this week. So I went and got everything ready for him to. So he came into the yard with a big trailer and a truck and a load of firewood, and he went to back it into my firewood spot, and he spun out with the truck. And I said, well, just a minute, I'll get the tractor to pull you. And as I was talking to him, he was sitting there with his brakes on, and suddenly the whole truck and load of wood and everything just went sliding across the yard about 10 feet right into the back end of the loaner car and smashed out the taillights. Thankfully, it didn't bend the tin work at all, just the taillight. So, that was kind of interesting. But I now think I'll have enough firewood to last me and the rest of the winter, at least if it keeps being as warm as it has been.
And it has been quite warm. It has been quite warm. There is a threat of cold air. February, there's a threat. And I've seen it. But I believe that we are going to see a Pacific pounding reestablish itself. I really believe that.
Well,
okay.
I'm hoping that we get some snow. Because right now, the snow is so crusty and hard, it's hard for the cattle to eat snow, to get enough moisture. But yet the cows don't want to go over to the water trough. It's too far to walk over there. And our water trough is all frozen anyway. We'd have to spend a couple days thawing it out. And so we're really relying on them eating snow right now. And suddenly the snow is so hard and crusty. It's just, that's the worst problem we're having this winter with the cows. Other than that, it's nice that it's warm. We don't have to feed them quite as much, which is good because the last 2 years have been such drought. We haven't had enough hay. So pros and cons.
Yeah, there you go. And over in Prince George, Karen, how about you? How's your week been? A little bit of snow for you last night?
A little bit of snow last night, couple inches. But then it totally warmed up today. 3 degrees. It's melting like crazy. I'm gonna try to get out in the bush this weekend, take some pictures of how little snowpack we have.
It's pretty bad, is it?
It is bad.
All right, well, yeah, I agree. BC River Forecast Center has some new data coming out, and I think it's going to reflect what I've been saying on my channel this last bunch of days, that we are well below where we should be in BC. Maybe it looked favorable on January 1st, but we haven't had the snow since really at all in the province. A lot of places have none whatsoever. And meanwhile, over in the prairies, they have an abundance of super coal. We're going to talk to Mike in a second, but here's a video Justin made last week, and I think everybody needs to look at and laugh about a little bit.
Comedeorological report. This is Justin Ortel reporting from Browning, Manitoba. Look at this, you guys. Man, this is gnarly. Do not dry your clothes outside when it is minus 45 wind chill. Yeah, it's not going to end well.
Do not dry your
Guess
clothes
I'm not
outside.
wearing these today.
Yeah, you ready, listeners? That's the pants. That's the shirt. Mike, how cold was it for you in Winnipeg this last weekend?
Well, I really wasn't looking much at the temperatures. However, based on what I've experienced the last 4 to 5 years, that was the coldest that I have ever seen in a long time. I got a script here. So we were in a deep freeze thanks to a blizzard which kind of came through our province. Last week we had a blizzard, caused our temperatures to drop afterwards. Got up to about minus 45 for wind chill. I think one of our nights we were on minus 47. We had an extreme cold warning for about 3 days straight, 3 nights straight. It was cold enough that our freezer in the back room, the front door of it actually iced over because our back room isn't ventilated, and our furnace would come on whenever we opened our door. So that says something. What happened to us is that before the cold snap resulted, we had a mighty blizzard whiteout conditions along some of the highways. There were some pileups, as Mark was mentioning. It was the equivalent of seeing a bumper car ride gone wrong. They ended up putting an emergency alert out for the first time ever within about, I guess, 30 or 40 minutes of them getting notifications people are piling up on the highways. All the highways were closed, including Highway 101. I've never seen that many highways closed in one day within about 3 hours in Manitoba before. And as you saw, Justin, after I guess we had that blizzard, he posted a photo of him with those frozen pair of pants in his backyard. I was out in it for a few days, and it was very hard to breathe in. I'd come home and it'd be like I'd warm up and put over a nice pair of overalls. It's interesting. I found some people braving the cold outside. There was a guy. Winnipeg Wilden posted a photo of a Batman guy wearing boots. And a couple of other people said that it was so cold they snapped off their handle on their car in the minus 28, minus 40 wind chill. It was definitely a sight to see, and I think we're getting another Clipper system today, tonight, to tomorrow. Some humor. Surprised to see people doing some ridiculous things in the cold. I saw a video of someone on their tricycle, just a unicycle, one of those unicycles kind of pedaling in the snow. So, but yeah, that's weather in Manitoba for you, and a warm-up's coming our way this week, -3 for tomorrow, and then high of 0 and +1 on Monday, and then it's minus single digits for the rest of the week. So it's looking good here. Hopefully it stays this way.
Excellent report. Okay, I got 4 Frankie videos right now lined up, Frankie.
I gotta double check it. I gotta double check the videos and how many videos. I sent you lots of videos this week on my YouTube channel.
I'm including the Louisiana and the Texas one together because it was the same storm. So I got your 4 after that, which would be we got coming major snowstorm to hit Louisiana, Massachusetts, the UK, and then Los Angeles. Those 4 videos I got lined up right now, Frankie. You ready to go?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask something, Joey. The Los Angeles rainfall, could that be disastrous?
It could be a case for mudslides and things like that. Last I looked yesterday, we were talking about 15 mils or something like that for the area of the fire that's been happening right now. Could that number go up? Yeah, I could really see how it could go up, how modeling might change its mind and give it a wetter situation than I saw yesterday. And maybe it already is. Frankie might be aware of that. But, the basic thing is I don't think this is a trend in the long term. This is going to be like an aberration. It's going to, a low is going to happen. It's going to bring some snow to the mountains there, some rainfall. Some winds might be dangerous still that come with it. But I think it's not a change in the weather pattern. It's a moment of down fire weather that hopefully they can put to use and get ahead on everything that's left to button up by that time or whatever, right?
Good.
Okay, Frankie, what video?
Yes.
Just got to give a minute to set it up here.
This is Frankie McDonald. My own team is Nature Live in Sydney, Nova Scotia.
I want it to be
Major
perfect.
winter storm is headed towards
Okay, here we go.
This is Frankie McDonald. My own team is Nature Live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major winter storm is headed towards Louisiana on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. It's going to bring a lot of snow in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. It's around 6 to 12 inches of snow or more. It's going to bring a lot of snow, mixed precipitation, ice pellets, and freezing rain and sleet in New Orleans and the surrounding areas. That could cause drive conditions to be extremely dangerous, especially on interstate highways in New Orleans, Louisiana, even the same location where Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans on August 29, 2005. It's going to bring a lot of freezing rain and snow and sleet in New Orleans and surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in Baton Rouge and surrounding areas as well. Streets, roads, highways, and interstate highways will be snow covered. Will be really dangerous driving conditions, especially on interstate highways and all the other highways. It's going to be so dangerous that could cause really dangerous driving conditions that could cause blowing snow, drifting snow in Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of snow in the state of Louisiana, including Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and the surrounding areas as well. People in Louisiana, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, winter jackets ready, hats and gloves, scarves, ski pants ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy a case of Pepsi, buy a case of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till last minute.
Do it right now.
Right now.
Yes.
Make sure your smartphones, cell phones, laptops, tablets are charged. Have your 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE and ready to go. When you drive a car, take your time, drive a car, slow down, so don't get into car accidents. We go for a walk. Be very good walking, see adults will fall. Make sure your furnaces and heat pumps ready. Turn on your furnaces, heat pumps, keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea, keep you warm. Have extra blankets ready, keep you warm as well. Make sure your shovel, snow scoop, snow blowers, snow plows, salt trucks ready as well. Have your salt ready and put the salt on the road as well. If you have anybody live in New Orleans, Louisiana, and Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and West Louisiana, be prepared for a major winter storm on Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major winter storm. Stay warm and be safe.
Frankie nailed that forecast, friends.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Major snowstorm is headed towards Massachusetts on Sunday, January 19, 2025. It's going to bring around 6 to 12 inches of snow, especially in Boston, Massachusetts, and Framingham, Massachusetts, and Springfield, Massachusetts. It's going to bring a lot of snow. It's going to bring pretty strong winds. It's going to cause blowing, drift, and snow, reduced visibilities, dangerous and treacherous driving conditions in the state of Massachusetts, including Boston, Massachusetts, and Springfield, Massachusetts, surrounding areas, including Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and Provincetown, Massachusetts. It's going to bring a lot of snow. It's going to cause big waves crash on beaches, shores, and streets, roads, highways, and interstate highways will be snow covered in the state of Massachusetts, especially in Boston, Massachusetts, and surrounding areas as well, in Springfield, Massachusetts, and Framingham, Massachusetts, and surrounding areas, including Rhode Island and Providence, Rhode Island, and Hartford, Connecticut, and the surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a lot of snow. Winds are going to be pretty strong. It's going to cause blowing, drift, and snow. It's going to bring really dangerous driving conditions as well. That could cause really dangerous driving conditions as well. People in Massachusetts, be prepared. Have your winter boots ready, winter jackets ready, hats, gloves, scarves, ski pants ready. Order your pizzas and order your Chinese food. Buy a case of Pepsi, buy a case of Coke. Do your grocery shopping. Don't wait till the last minute. Do it right now. Make sure if your smartphone, cell phones, laptops, tablets, charge. Have your 3G, 4G, 5G, and LTE internet ready as well. When you drive a car, take your time, drive a car, slow down, so don't get into car accidents. When you go for a walk, be very careful walking, see adults to fall. Make sure you have your furnaces and heat pumps ready. Turn on your furnaces, heat pumps, keep those warm. Drink lots of green tea, white tea, red tea. Drink lots of green tea, keep you warm. Have your extra blankets ready, keep you warm as well. Make sure you have your shovels, snow scoops, snow blowers, snow plows, and salt trucks ready as well. If you have anybody live in Massachusetts, be prepared for a major snowstorm on Sunday, January 19, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a major snowstorm. Stay warm and be safe.
Did you get that one right too? I think so.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Powerful storm is headed towards the United Kingdom and Ireland on Friday, January 24th, 2025. Winds are going to be really powerful. That's going to bring down power lines, snap tree branches in half, and bring down power lines and snap telephone poles in half. That's going to cause a whole lot of power outages, especially in Belfast, Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, and surrounding areas. I urge everyone to have your extra batteries, generators, battery operated lanterns, and bottled water ready as well. Make sure you have your everything ready, emergency kits, medical kits ready, because winds are going to be so powerful in the United Kingdom, Wales, England, Scotland, Ireland, Isle of Man, and Northern Ireland as well. People in the United Kingdom, be prepared. Make sure have your medical kits and the generators and everything ready as well. And Generacs ready to just lose power and winds are going to be mighty powerful in the United Kingdom, Belfast, Ireland, Dublin, Ireland, and the surrounding areas as well. Winds are going to be mighty powerful in the United Kingdom as well. It's going to bring wind-driven rain, sideways rain. There'll be big waves crash on beaches, shores in the United Kingdom and Ireland and Northern Ireland and Ireland and surrounding areas as well. Before everybody living in the United Kingdom, prepare for a powerful storm on Friday, January 24, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in a powerful storm. Stay dry and warm and be safe.
Yeah, excellent video, Frankie.
This is Frankie McDonald, my own TV station, live in Sydney, Nova Scotia. Heavy rains head towards Los Angeles, California on Sunday, January 26, 2025. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Los Angeles, California, Long Beach, California, and the surrounding areas, including so much rain is going to hit Los Angeles. Streets, roads, highways, and interstate highways will be wet. There will be a lot of puddles on the streets in Los Angeles. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain, including coastal areas of Los Angeles. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Los Angeles and surrounding areas as well on Sunday, January 26, 2025. It's going to bring so much rain and downpours in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas, including Long Beach, California, Anaheim, Orange County, Riverside, California. It's going to bring a lot of rain in Los Angeles and the surrounding areas as well, including northwest of Los Angeles as well. It's going to bring a lot of rain. And people in Los Angeles, be prepared. Make sure if your rubber boots, raincoats, and raincoats ready. Don't walk through the puddles. Avoid the puddles when you go for a walk. When you go for driving the car. When you're driving the car, don't drive the car to the puddles either. Because this Sunday will not be a good day to head to the beach to go swimming in Los Angeles and Long Beach, California, surrounding areas as well. It's going to bring a whole lot of rain in Los Angeles and surrounding areas as well. If anybody lives in Los Angeles, California, be prepared for heavy rain on Sunday, January 26, 2025. Take care, stay safe. Don't get caught in heavy rain. Stay dry and be safe.
Those are some excellent videos, Frankie, and you definitely got your predictions right. And I got another one still from you yet today that we're going to put up about everywhere people can see the Comedeorological report. What do you guys think? What a great show so far tonight. And it's already, we're
I
already
was
almost
doing
a
an
month.
advertisement for Comedeorological Weather Report. I recorded a video myself last night.
Yeah, it's really great. Do you guys want to see it?
Yes.
I want to see it. I think it's really great. It takes me a minute
That's
to
a
find things
promo
here.
video.
Here it is right here. I got it, Frankie. Boom. I was quick this time.
Hey everybody, my name is Frankie McDonald. You're listening to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. And Joey Only's a really nice guy. He used to work for Vancouver Giants Western Hockey League team. He's a big fan of Prince George Cougars Western Hockey League team.
Big
and
fan
Joey
of
Only's a
Frankie.
really nice guy. And with Imogen Cookie Bailey, Brandon Helk, Joe Stover, and the others on Joey Only Show every Thursday nights. And I do the weather reports and things like this. And Brandon Helk does the weather reports on Joey Only Show. And I do the weather reports all over the world, especially in interior British Columbia, Vancouver, and in the surrounding areas. It's on CFUR 88.7 FM in Prince Georgia, CKUW 95.9 FM Winnipeg, and CFPX 92.5 FM in Kamloops is on Rogers Cable Access TV in Vancouver Island and Rogers Cable Access TV in Northern British Columbia, including Prince George and the surrounding areas now. And Joey Onley's a really nice guy. He used to work for Vancouver Giants Western Hockey League team. And Joey Onley's a really nice guy. I'm on his podcast every Thursday night at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. It's on YouTube, Caribou Weather Dude. Joey Only, Caribou Weather Dude. Best luck to you. I'm Frank Dow. You listen to Comedeorological Weather Report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic. See you then.
I love it, Frankie. I love it. I'll be putting that in a bunch of my videos this week, my forecast videos and things like that, just because why not, and put it on my Facebook and whatnot. And I put another one where you did a tornado siren. I can't show it because a guy had something in his hand I'm not allowed to show on Rogers. But I put that one on my Facebook, and you're doing the tornado siren, and the guy's just not getting the drift. He's just like, hey, you're the guy from the videos. And you're like, come on, do the tornado siren. It's pretty funny, I thought. Hey, Mike, what do you got for us, man?
Yeah, I was wondering, does Frankie have any videos of him running around being chased by gorillas or a different animal?
That was last week, but we're hoping soon the guy comes back, Frankie. You got any plans for the guy?
I'm working on it.
Working on plans for the guy. You got things that you think the guy could be chased by, drop it in Frankie's ear. Maybe he'll consider it, but he's pretty original. He's pretty original. He likes to do his own things. So.
And did you hear about this? Over in Russia, a lot of places they close the borders to Canada.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you can't just walk into Russia now. Frankie, what
I'll be
about
chased
beavers?
by a bunch of kangaroos.
What about beavers, Frankie? What if the guy gets chased by beavers?
That means it'll be. And then I'm working on it. Got a long range idea.
Long range idea. He's probably got some other ones in there first. Beavers is a real Canadian thing, you know, especially in this time where we need to be, you know, patriotic and stuff. Think of the beavers. Think of the beavers. Brandon, when was the last time you were chased by a beaver?
Chased by a beaver? Never. Never have been chased by a beaver. Just looking at more jokes, you know.
I've chased a beaver before, but I mean, literally, I helped him like bring his wood to his dam, and he would like every 10, 20 feet.
That means. And did you hear about this? I did the tornado siren at the Steel City on Wednesday night, and you're not allowed to show it on K-Wax. It's easy. We do the copyrighted music.
Well, there's not that. It's because the guy's got a drink in his hand that we don't want to show on TV.
Plus the copyrighted music. That's another thing.
Plus the copyrighted music. But it's pretty funny. You can find it on my Facebook there and on my Blue Sky. I put it up there. And Frankie's doing the tornado siren, and the guy he's with just isn't getting it. He's just not getting that Frankie wants him to do the tornado siren with him. And it's really classic, actually. And he's like, oh, you're the guy from the videos, from the football clips, you know? And Frankie's like, do the siren, man. Do the siren. What do you got, Brandon? You've been looking at funny things. I know you have.
Oh, yes. Right. Here we go. Did you hear about the fragile myth? It was busted.
No, I didn't hear that one. Didn't hear that
didn't
one.
hear that one?
On the Rogers TV, copyrighted music is not allowed.
That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, order yours now before the gorillas come. Justin saying there, Weather Center Manitoba in the chat. He says, what's up, everyone? Thanks for the great video, Justin. We really liked your frozen pants and shirt there. And, you know, I really liked how you just said, you know, do not try to dry your clothes out today. It's minus 30. And so, yeah, it's a good point. You don't want to do that. Arnold's asking, dinner was great. Thank you very, very much. Other people in the chat are saying, Lightning Rod saying, there's an enormous chunk of ice that just broke off from the front of the Doomsday area of the glacier there. He's talking about Antarctica, I believe. And Peter Henry says he once thought he was being chased by a beaver, but it was a guy with a nickel in his pocket. I'm glad you enjoyed it, said the Weather Center Manitoba. Really, really good stuff there. So that's just a little taste. What do you guys got? We got 8 minutes left in the show still. Mike?
Yeah, I think Justin posted a photo of him eating a bowl of noodles, and as he was eating it, his noodles froze. You know, when you eat noodles in the cold, they freeze instantly. So I think he posted a photo of that somewhere too.
It was more like a video. There it is right there. It's frozen noodles. That's Justin's lunch. He just sat down for a second. He's like, oh, I will just put my bowl down here, tie my shoe while I'm having my lunch. And that's what happened there. It just froze solid. If people in the radio world could see this, it's a spaghetti. He like pulled the spaghetti noodles up with the fork, and then he let go of the fork, and the fork just stayed there, and the noodles are frozen into place. That's how cold it was in Brandon, Manitoba last weekend, which is, you know, precisely why you know, a lot of people try to move away from the prairies as soon as they get to 18 years old.
Another thing too is that even in the prairies, winter tires don't actually work. We had really bad icy road conditions because of the freeze up we had after the melts. And we saw a guy crash into a bus stop with winter tires on.
Wow.
You don't see that often.
Well, winter tires do nothing on ice, right? And what I was saying to guys in the group chat here, because, you know, I live up in the mountain road here. I mean, there's hardly ever a time I drive to town where I'm like, oh, wow, the roads are actually nice. You know, at least there is times I say that. But when I say that, most people would be saying, holy cow, these roads are terrible. But to me, that's nice because I'm used to living in the mountains. And it's like any amount of like snow on the highway I can kind of deal with. You know, they can be piled up a foot deep, and I've had that where I'm literally driving on the Barkerville Highway and like you know, more than a half feet, 20 centimeters of snow on the road, and just in 4-wheel drive, I'll get home. But I can't, if I was in Winnipeg and I seen the snow blowing like that across the prairie, and your phone's going, stay home, idiots, and I'd be like, well, okay, I think I'll just stay home, because I'll tell you the truth, I wouldn't even want to. I didn't enjoy driving in Winnipeg in the summer when I was there, let alone during a blizzard.
When my son and I went to go downhill skiing, not last weekend, but the weekend before that, there had been an ice storm, freezing rain the day before. It wasn't a full-blown ice storm, but there had been freezing rain for a couple hours. And the only vehicle that was down in the bottom of the ditch was a pickup truck that was jacked up pickup truck, high clearance, 4-wheel drive pickup.
Like mine.
That's the one truck that was stuck in the ditch. Yep.
Yeah.
He was overconfident.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah.
And, it's never been me, but I drive overconfidently. But that's the thing. Winter tire is meant to slick off wet stuff. To shed it. It's not really meant for driving on ice. Nothing is. Nothing's meant for driving on ice. Like maybe a tank is, or a Zamboni. And there's a reason the Zamboni doesn't go 100 kilometers an hour. If it did, it would lose control.
The roads are so dry here with there like all the plows. I think I saw a photo of a plow on the highway. It was actually sparking because he was driving on pavement. And he's like trying to clear snow, and there's no snow to clear. So they're just sending out city crews to clear the roads when there's no snow to clear the roads. And the guy was sparking as it was driving down the road. It was kind of funny to see.
I have seen that frequently. Been behind plows at night, and they're just grinding, trying to get anything close to the road.
If you want to follow me on social media, my blue sky is at Frankie McD. My ex formerly Twitter is at Frankie McD. My link tree is Frankie McDonald. My threads is at Frankie McD984. My Facebook is Frankie McDonald. My Instagram is Frankie McD984. My TikTok is FrankDonald984. My Clapper is FrankDonald984. My Twitch is FrankDonald984. My Snapchat is Frankie MEC doing. My YouTube channel Stocks Moves, and my LinkedIn is Frankie McDonald. Best of luck to you. I'm Frankie Donald. You're listening to Comedeorological weather report every Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific, 11 p.m. Atlantic.
That is the man, Frankie McDonald, and he's the greatest. He's the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time.
No Western social media is allowed in China.
No. Pretty soon, maybe American social media won't be allowed in Canada. I have no idea what the future is going to bring. Things are getting weird out there. I can predict the weather, but I can't predict humanity all that well. Actually, I've been predicting it surprisingly well for a long time. But the thing is, you can bank on the weather having some kind of scientific predictability, whereas humanity can sort of just go roof once in a while when it wants to. And the fact it has before, we know it can again. That's the danger of humanity. That's right. Got about 2 minutes left to go here. So I'll take that time to say, that's me, Joey Only. You can find the podcast on all the streaming platforms. Mark would want me to tell you this because he does this every week. He puts us up on Apple and Spotify. And I don't know the name of podcast sites, to be honest. I don't know what sites I'm on. But I know we're out there, and I know that you probably know what podcast sites are that people go to. So if you listen to podcasts, find us on there, Comedeorological Report. I'm sure you can do that. Anyways, thank you, Mark, for putting us on every week. We appreciate that aspect of your contribution to the show, just like I appreciate Frankie McDonald's contribution of being our star, just like I appreciate Brandon Hauk's contribution of being the co-host whenever I'm not ready to go or have nothing on the go. Brandon has always been ready to take over. He's the guy. What else, Frank?
Over in Iran, no Western culture is allowed, period.
No Western cultures allowed, period, in Iran. That's, we've been canceled. We're no longer on cable access TV in Iran, Frankie. I'm quite sad about it. And we're hoping Mark Ingalls gets on that pretty soon. We also had Hank Vliestra in Saskatchewan, Mike McGregor
That means all those Western TV has been suspended in Russia.
Yep, you cannot find the Comedeorological report in Russia anymore either. Mike McGregor from Weather Center Manitoba, you will not be able to find yourself in Russia. Thanks to Justin from the Weather Center also for his nice video this week. Hilding Donaldson, good luck with your smashed up loaner car there. I'm glad it was only a tail light because seriously, that could I've had that where I've been in a vehicle where I parked. It was like a sideways parking lot at Barkerville Gold Mines back in the day, and I parked where I was supposed to, and then as I got out and I walked about 10 feet away, then I watched the truck go and just start sliding. I was like, oh my God. And it was like sliding right towards, I think it was like the mine manager, the CEO was in town or something, or you had some investor, some billionaire investor or something where I was like, not that truck of all. And it just came to like a timp and just kind of stopped, which would have been enough. It was a Ford Pinto. It would have exploded the thing. But no, it was luckily just another Ford truck and didn't even make a scratch. And that was great. We also had Karen Richards check in, and we had our producer, Imogen Cookie Bailey. It was a full show tonight. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next week. That's the show, Frankie.
That's the show.
That's the show, Hilding. That's the show, Hank, Mike, Brandon.
That's it. That's the show.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. That's it. Okay.
The next step is to editing the show.
Yeah. First Zoom has to compress it. And that takes a while.
That means how long does it take for the show to reach cable access TV?
And then, that's
24
right.
hours.
Yeah, about 24 hours before. Hopefully because I do email it now to the video. It's made my process a little more complicated, I think, for getting the show up, but I think it's a reasonable expectation now that we're being aired in so many places to directly give them the file and not ask them to have to do that for us. So I think that's, a fair trade-off, but it does make it a little slower for me because it means I do all the editing.
That means the Comedeorological weather report's allowed on cable access TV down in the States someday.
That would be cool. I'm not sure if I'll ever be allowed any of me in America soon. I'm being pretty honest with my feelings about things. and yeah. So then I edit the thing, Frankie. So it gets compressed. I have to download it, and then I edit it. That's right. And then so I send it to the radio station and to Rogers TV now before I upload it to YouTube because I only have enough bandwidth to kind of do one thing at a time in sending large files out. So that's why you've noticed the last 2 weeks it's been late getting onto the YouTube.
This the Rogers cable access TV, they send the files to other locations of Rogers.
Yeah, I send them directly now in the email. I send it to Imogen, and she does the rest. So she's the go-to, the contact person in that side of things. Frankie is gone. Now that he's got that clarification on how all this works, he's like, that's cool, I'm fucking out of here.
I was amazed how long Frankie stuck around.
He's been doing that more, hey?
I didn't realize how long it would stay for. It's my Aussie accent.
And you know what he'll do is he'll come back, kind of like on the Gary Andino show. He might pop back in 20 minutes from his couch if we still are here.
Oi.
So,
yeah.
Frankie's figured out that, we really are, pre and post show going on. And I mean, there used to be no pre and post show. I mean, we'd get together like this ahead time, and then we'd hit record, and then we'd put the video up on, so ever since we started going live, we're like, well, we might as well, from the second we get on, just start streaming, even though it's usually the first 20 minutes we're pretty discombobulated and just checking the maps and looking at fucking things. Speaking of which, what do you got there? You were saying the 150K wins, Brandon, reported there in...
Yeah, it's 151K wins there, just off the coast, just off the southern tip there. So yeah, it's really 153 actually, 153, 95 miles an hour. County Kerry, Southwest Ireland. So yeah,
try playing ping pong in that.
Oh no.
Yeah, try flying around with try flowing frisbee in that. Got some southern accent here.
It'll be a ping pong ball will end up in Scotland in no time with that wind.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, you're from Scotland, eh?
Why? I'm.
Jeez, guys, it's
99%
terrible.
Scottish.
It's like It's fucking terrible.
I'm working on my
148
accent.
there at
Almost, yeah.
Clahoney. Limerick there at Shannon. 126 in Shannon. 126 there. Cork is still fucking blowing pretty good there. Just fucking whipping right there in Cork. Yeah. Just here over here in
Maybe
Dingle, there's
some fine kilts out there.
little bit of fucking rain there by Dingle. It's
Yeah, they had a
fucking Dingle.
tornado today, and
Where? We can't hear you, Brandon. You're freezing again.
Yeah.
Where was the tornado?
Oh, there was a tornado in the UK today. I should hang out closer to the microphone. Maybe that would help.
Okay, yeah. Tornado in the UK. What do you got on that?
Yeah, it was about earlier today. Nobody got it. Well, I think somebody got some video footage of it. Okay, hold on. Tornado UK. I gotta find out where it was again.
And if you can find it, share it here.
UK. So I know I found it. Oh yeah, brief tornado hit Quentrell Downs, Hollywell Bay Street in Newquay. More than 100 properties were damaged. Roof being torn off. Tiles being torn off the roofs. Yeah. So that was earlier today, 14 hours ago. Yeah. That was kind of the appetizer before the main event, I guess. Yeah.
You want some tea with that wind?
Tornado alert and parts stop there. It's not working, man.
I tried it. Okay.
Your normal voice is bad enough, bro. Fucking Tornado
tried.
alert parts of UK today. What you need to know. Carnage as mini tornado rips through village 16 hours ago. Here you go, Brandon. You aren't lying. At least 26 areas hit by tornado warnings. Wow. Dudes. I know the tornadoes do happen in England.
Oh, yeah.
It's not that rare. It's just it's not summer. It's kind of that's kind of rare.
Winterish. Yeah.
Got a video
Same
right here.
storm system too.
Yeah. Here we go. Cornish video hit by mini tornado. Is this it?
Yeah. Okay.
Come, I can't make it big. They call this a tornado video. UK.
Wow.
And they're like, oh, look. That's a fuck all for a tornado.
I don't know if that was a tornado or
in
not.
Australia was bigger.
Wimps. You call that a tornado? But no, look, there's some. I got pictures of roofs off. A light breeze started, then a strong wind came in 10 seconds ago. There's some property damage here. Okay, yeah. So yeah, there was a tornado there. There's a car with a bag over its window because it was smashed out there in Quintrell Downs. So that's what you're talking about. Some roof damage. So it looks like an F0, I would say, from this damage.
Yeah.
30 tornadoes a year reported in the UK. See, it does happen. I just think that this seems to be I would not expect a tornado at this time of year in England so much. That's maybe I'm crazy.
And I think there was a tornado in Australia today too, a large one. That one was a real deal tornado. Yeah, that one looked
like when you see that tornado,
Painkiller
Mike,
bun.
Hank, you've seen, you're from the prairies. You see that video of that tornado. You're not exactly like fucking wowed.
Which tornado?
The UK tornado.
Oh.
Nothing compares to the Alonza and EF5 Eli tornado to me. That was just like a light breeze. I rode my bike in
2007
100-kilometer-hour winds before. That's like nothing, man.
Was that May 31, 2007 or something like that? Or June?
June
Eli,
22nd.
Manitoba. Pardon me?
June 22nd, 2007.
I
actually did a
love-
Heritage Fair project on that one, and I went to regionals with the Edmonton Tornado project I did for grade 6. So
Really?
yeah,
That's cool.
I got some weather experience on my belt.
When
What do
you're
you
like
guys
in your
think? Baby tornado?
I was kind of the same, like that kid who's like You know, wanted to talk about Hurricane Gilbert, Hurricane Hugo at the time. You know, when I was in grade.
I was that kid who did that too. Collected all the newspapers, and everybody asked me to be today at grade 4. Oh yes.
What are you gonna be when you grow up?
Had
A
all these weather
businessman, a
facts, just like I do
businessman.
tonight.
Then I'll crush your precocious little head.
So I have to say the tornado in Australia today looked a lot better than the one in the UK. That was a decent sized tornado.
Which side of Australia was it?
I believe Queensland. Yes, Queensland.
Okay,
Southeast
kind of the
Queensland.
northeast side of Australia.
Is
Yeah.
that near Coffs Harbor? My aunt lives in Coffs Harbor.
It's near the town called Cane Killer Bun.
Cane Killer Bun.
That's what it said.
That's what I said.
I guess there ain't no killer buns there now. They got all scared off from the tornado.
That's really funny. I'm
They
looking
do
for...
have the craziest town names out there.
Well, they're crazy people. That's the thing about the Aussies. You know, and they are. They're
And
wild.
I'm right next to a town named Cut Knife, so I guess I shouldn't talk.
Yeah, and it seems like a funny name for a town.
Well,
It's
Manitoba's
it's
got
like
a whole
calling
bunch of
your
funny town.
our
Yeah.
town is called Fire Hot. You know, Cut Knife. It's like, you know, yeah. Okay, so this photo here that I'm showing you, see this beautiful photo from the National Parks and Wildlife Service in Australia, Hangar 609, National Parks and Wildlife Service. This is my friend Sean. Took this photo for me. And it's a beauty. He's like, well, after work one day, he's like, I'll just take a picture of her. There's nothing's on fire today. I'll just got all these sexy helicopters here.
They look like a tiny mosquito, sort of.
They are the A-Star helicopters. I've been in a couple here in BC on fires. They're very nimble chopper. Like if I've been in the big Hueys before, and they're really like, you don't realize what a heavy duty helicopter a Huey is, like a Bell 206 or 212, or 205, sorry, or 212. A 206 is more like this, I should say. A Kiowa is more like lightweight, fast, maneuverable. So when you go from flying in a Huey for a while, and then you get into this A-Star with this guy, and he just down the road like a rocket. It's pretty neat.
How fast do those helicopters usually travel?
That's a good question. You know, top speed compared to cruising speed, you know, and that means like you're probably, if you're just a casual getting into the helicopter, you're probably not going to experience its top speed very often. You know, if it cruises at, 150 miles an hour or something, I wouldn't be that surprised. Or 100 miles an hour or more, you know, like they're fast. For them to go 200 kilometers an hour isn't that difficult, I don't think.
They look I would honestly have never been in a helicopter before, so it'd be the ride of my life, man. Joey, you should take me on a helicopter ride sometime.
I would not do that unless you are a competent wildland firefighter. I'm sorry. This hat here is from Sean as well. There, I'll take it. I'll put it on even for you. It's got you can tell it's an Australian hat. It's got this fucking weird thing in the back.
Oh yeah.
And it doesn't really fit me at all. Like, it looks absolutely terrible on me. But these guys, they come here to fight our fires in BC, and they wear hats like this, and then we think they're pretty. Like, those guys are pretty cool. They got fucked up hats that we'd never wear. And they're just like rocking it like it's normal. Just like, yeah, we had an Aussie here running our division on the fire here in Wells this summer. I can't seem to make it. I'm not even good at wearing their hats. Like, they're fucking hard to do. See? There you go.
You look like a nun, sort of.
Yeah, a fire nun, eh? Yeah, look at that. So see what it says right there? It says something about Australia on it. I can't read it because I'm looking down to point at it. Parks and Recreation Service or something it says.
Yeah.
That's what Sean gave me. And as a present on the fires when he was here in BC. And I don't want to put it, I think I'm going to take it out of there. It's getting dusty sitting above the wood stove and as stupid looking as it is. And it's even got a hole for your ponytail in the back or your dick or something.
That's pretty cool.
Right there, you see.
I can see if Justin here had a couple jokes for it. It looks like he is talking.
There you go. So you can put your ponytail there or your cock or anything. You can put your weed in here.
Or your secret cookie stash. Because I like
Australian.
cookies.
But if you were living in Australia, you'd be like, thank God for this hat. It's keeping the sun off the rattlesnakes can't bite my neck. There's no rattlesnakes there. Whatever awful thing will kill me. Little spiders that get down into your shirt and they bite you, and then your intestines come out of your ass. That's what happens. And so because of this, you can't get these bugs, these spiders that will, make you bleed out your anus. True story. Yeah, you don't just walk around like casually in Australia. And so I always thought it was funny because the Australians would be like, they come here and they're like, is that is there any grizzly bears around here? And I'm like, bro, you can see them coming for like kilometers. But you guys, you're like in your bed's like some snake that'll kill you. I've never had a grizzly bear in my boot. I haven't had to check my boot in the morning for grizzly bears, I see him coming for a mile. It's not so fucking bad.
You don't have to check the outhouse hole for a grizzly bear down the hole.
Yeah. Yeah, Sean tells me, he said, hey, we could use you here. And he's got this amazing place in New South Wales. It's like this paradise fucking kind of house. It's like big veranda, it's like netting around it and like trees, and it's all beautiful. And he's like, yeah, you come live here. We could use a firefighter like you. And I'm like, man, I'm getting off the continent. If I didn't have kids, I'd be like, it's time to go. Things are getting weird. It's time to go. Instead, I guess I got to stand here and fight, things like that.
What are your thoughts on this upcoming fire season? I sent you some data. Are you looking into that?
Well, I will be, but in order to have like an opinion about this fire season truly, anything more than what I was saying today on my Facebook, I probably don't have yet. I think I have a good idea of what the factors are that we want to see go one way or the other in order for things to kind of work out in BC. Like I kind of see what the variables will be. For example, you were talking, we've been talking about the La Nina fading in the spring. And so I want to look at those years you have. That's going to take me time to actually look at those years and be like, well, what happened on these years? Now, 2017 and 2018, don't have to look very hard for that. That's a very recent example, but I want to see if there's a pattern beyond that for the sort of weather setup we're having this summer. And to me, I need to be able to look at the snowpack we have and sort of with kind of like an imagination for the finality of what it will be like. Knowing that we could see a big influx of Pacific weather still, I'm not, it's not easy for me to say, well, how much snow will be on the ground still in June in the mountains here on the north slopes, and how much snow is here changes how cool the province is, how humid the province is when there's snow in the mountains still into June, how much moisture, how long the ground stays wet. So we need a good month of snowfall or not falling before I can really look at it and be like, well, okay. So, we can kind of look at these trends ahead of time, and then I have to make sure that that the graphs you sent me really do represent what we're coming into this year, which seems reasonable right now.
And then there's also the factors of the other, like after 1950 to 2000. Is there an increase in the amount of overall average temperatures, or is it like a consistent pattern?
Well, and that's the thing. We may be a little cooler this year than last year, but even then, that's way above every other year up until 2 years ago.
Yeah,
so
I usually take into account the overall soil moisture. Like for our storm season, say, well, 3 or 4 years ago, there was a big storm system that came through in June, but we, had tons of moisture that year. And, you can kind of see a pattern with the soil moisture here in the prairies, the same way that you can probably see the pattern in your forest fire problems out there. So, I have a newspaper archive website I can check out. It's you can probably find some articles about forest fires in there too. I'll send that to you.
So we need a little bit of time to like get a better picture. I mean, like the professionals aren't releasing a lot of long range forecasts yet, so it would be kind of egotistical maybe if I was being too bold and saying I think for sure this is going to happen. But some of the preliminary ones I've seen from other forecasters seem to indicate that they think that it will get be cool to start but hot later in the season. Perhaps like an August heat more than a June heat or whatever, right? Like the onset. It may take longer for summer to onset, according to some of these ideas. And if it gets hot in the U.S. West, that's usually a pretty good indicator. Like if they're going to be well above average, that'll be a good indicator for what to expect in BC. That's where our heat tends to come from, right? In order for us to get hot, it has to get hot down there first.
I'm gonna get going. It was nice having I'll let you guys chat a little bit longer.
Yeah, you have a good one,
appreciate
Mike.
it.
I think I'm pretty much done tonight. I don't know if you guys where have I got this? It might take me a minute to find it. This is what I'm stewing on for maybe a bad news show next week or something. Something to talk about. But I can't seem to find the clip.
Were my jokes good tonight?
I already forget. Half the time I'm only half paying attention while you guys are talking. Like I wind you up and then I'm looking at what I'm going to be setting up next. So sometimes I'm not paying attention as much as you might expect I am at any given time. Like often, for example, like Brandon's so reliable that often I tune out during him because I can use that time to set up my Frankie videos, things like that. It's like, okay, Brandon's going good. I don't have to think. He's got it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I can't seem to get this video up for whatever reason. I can't seem to find it.
I might probably take a break next week, but come on the following week if, depending on your guest situation, I'll stay in touch with you.
Yeah,
But
sounds
trying
good.
to
I'll
be
probably try to
respectful.
find a guest next week, I think. I like to kind of, not have it too many weeks in a row of guests, but not too many weeks in a row of not guests, a special guest, you know what I mean? Or a featured guest.
I met a guy here in Winnipeg who does Manitoba Connections, and he's with Rogers here in Winnipeg. So I'll maybe get some of the information to you about him. Like you can maybe email him, ask if he's interested in coming on as a guest because he does film and video and arts, and he's into the festivals here. So maybe he could be a good guest. I don't know, but I found a connection is interested in kind of what we're doing. So
Did you see that video I put up of Trump talking about annexing Canada today at the World Economic Forum? The World Economic Forum, and I didn't watch the whole thing. It's like a 50-hour long thing from Davos there on there, but you could hear like people gasping as he's talking, like in the crowd, right? Like, yeah, and then he kind of like just lays it out in the end. He's like, well, basically, in order for America to balance its books, the best plan they could have is to annex the countries around them. Which is all it always boils down to, right? So I'm going to be putting that in a clip and Making a bad news show, I think, on that topic next time I make one. Of course, I got the kids all weekend and stuff, so.
Bottom line is, whenever someone talks about Trump, I'm just like, I don't want to hear it. I'm tired of it. I'm at a point where I'm just like, okay, I'll hear your opinion, but I'm more annoyed at the guy than anything. That's my opinion of him.
Well, this is it's not about even just being annoyed. This is about like the sovereignty of our country.
We think we can even far surpass that. Actually, far surpass it. But we do. One thing we're going to be demanding is we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them.
It's because
as you probably know, I say you can always become a state. And if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years, and it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody. So, just as an example, with Mexico, we're dealing with Mexico, I think, very well. And we just want to be treated fairly with other nations because there's hardly a nation in the world, and I blame this on us, and I blame it on politicians that, for some reason, mostly it's stupidity, but you could also say other reasons, but mostly stupidity. They've allowed other nations to take advantage of the U.S., and we can't allow that to happen anymore. We have debt. It's a very small debt when you compare it to the value of the assets that we have. But we don't want to do that. We want to just have debt be obliterated, and we'll be able to do that fairly rapidly.
The problem is he doesn't have a freaking clue what he's talking about.
He's talking about stealing our things.
I know, but he doesn't understand it like he says he does. He doesn't understand it.
No.
He's just an idiot.
Wild.
And he thinks money, you can get money, like, okay, well, most rich politicians think that they can bribe people into getting more money, and I don't know, but we're gonna stay a sovereign nation. As far as I know, Canada is strong, free, and independent, and we're gonna keep it that way. I don't want our healthcare system falling apart. We deserve to continue to fight for what we fought for, and our veterans.
It wouldn't just be our healthcare system; it would be the fabric of our society. Like, we have relative peace and safety here still. I like, please feed me poop is saying in the comments that there's basically not a drop of snow on the ground in the Kootenays, and they're worried for fire season. Yeah.
We're in a snow drought here in Winnipeg too. We only got like 15 centimeters of snow on the ground. Our average at this time is about 150 or 200.
145-kilometer-hour wind in Mayo. I'm just looking at Ireland right now in the other eyeball. Yeah, 148 Vaughan. 117 sustained at the Mayo Sailing Club, 145 gust. That's coming ashore there.
Wow.
Yeah, it's quite a beast. It's the dry slot really hitting it right now too, it looks like. In the dry slots where the winds are really focused, right? On the south sector of that storm.
I'm gonna head her out, guys. See you next week or whenever.
Yeah. Sounds good. That's been 2 hours, boys. Sounds like it's time to call her a night. Well, that's the show, everybody out there who's still watching the live stream. All 15 of you or 10 of you, thank you very much for sticking around and supporting. Tell a friend. That's the big thing. We could really use trying to grow something here. A little bit pro-democracy and pro-science and pro-humanist. What's that, Hilding?
I'm just wondering if you got any notification from Paul about your application for.
No, I haven't.
Festival.
I would think they're gonna start.
Like, I got a reply the next day that they had received my application, but they didn't say whether or not they were accepting it.
Oh, I don't know.
So
I'm really bad at that kind of thing. Like for all I know, I hit send and I thought I sent it and it didn't. Like
mhm. Yeah.
like which is like I never applied to festivals in the past. They just called me and said, "Do you want to play?" And I said, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah. Well, anyway, I was just curious on that because I am planning on going anyway.
I would think you would hear pretty soon now that we're coming into January, but I guess I shouldn't expect anything anymore. Like no one cares. you know. I
It
can
seems
put
that
on a
way
show,
sometimes,
but no
doesn't
one
it?
I don't know if anyone cares, but until people care, I'm not going to put on a show and I can't make people care until I'm actively playing, and then I say, well, that's a lot of work. I'll just keep podcasting, I guess. I don't know.
I got a couple new songs I'd love to sing together with you sometimes. We gotta do
Well,
that
at
a
the
bit
very
more
least, even
sometime.
if we're not going to a festival together, you can drop in on your way south here. And
Yeah, no, for sure. I want to, next time I come through, I'll stop by. And yeah, I'm doing a house concert here in February 21st at Smithers.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, my neck's starting to hurt sitting here, and I got to put wood in the stove. And
Yeah. Okay,
I
well,
think,
it was a good one.
yeah, it
a
was,
good
eh?
one.
Love you, buddy. We'll see you next time, eh?
See you next
And
week.
bye, everybody. Hit the
Bye-bye.
like, share, and subscribes if you could. Help me keep trying to grow this channel, and even the thanks button if you wish. And if not, just keep coming back. That's what makes me happy. Okay.